Recording in progress.
Now I have changed my handset. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the participants in different geographies of this world. I'm so delighted to be part of this India Pulses and Grains Association webinar. It's a knowledge series which we've been conducting in recent years, and it attracts the best of talent around the world for this seminar. And here today we have some elite panelists who are going to share their thoughts, and it's going to be intellectually stimulating. I want to mention in recent years, IPGA has become rather active in spreading knowledge, and from time to time we organize knowledge-based events which are quite enriching for the participants, and we have enough evidence, I would say empirical evidence and certificates and accolades that our events are looked forward to. And let me unabashedly say that I must credit IPGA President Bimal Kothari for taking this initiative. In the last two and odd years, I think he's put in tremendous amount of efforts to enrich this association. I know this because I've been associated with IPGA even in its previous avatar as Pulses Importers Association for 40 years. Therefore, I think this is bearing fruit, and I'm from strength to strength. And of course, there is a long way ahead to traverse, and therefore, I must compliment the association and the president. Without much ado, I have a lot to say, but I'm not the protagonist of today's show. There are other speakers, expert speakers. Of course, I'll make intervention. I will share my thoughts. I want to first invite right away Mr. Bimal Kothari, Chairman of IPGA, for his opening remarks. Bimal ji.
Namaste, good evening, and good morning to my friends in US. And thank you, Chandrasekhar ji, for your kind words. On behalf of India Pulses and Grains Association, I extend a hearty welcome to all our members, patrons, value chain participants in the Pulses ecosystem to the IPGA Knowledge Series webinar jointly hosted with US Dry Peas and Lentils Council, which endeavors to provide us with the in-depth insights about India's Kharif pulses production, Rabi pulses sowing, as well as the pulses scenario and crop update in US for the year 2024-25. Friends, today we have amongst us the expert speakers who will present their outlook on the pulses crop prospects in coming months, and Mr. Tim McGreevy, CEO, US Dry Peas Lentil Council, will share his valuable insights about the US pulses crops update and discuss the trade prospects between India and US going forward. I welcome you all to the IPGA Knowledge Series, which has gained immense popularity in the pulses fraternity in last few years. Friends, as per the first advance estimate for 2024-25 released by the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India on the 5th November, the total Kharif production for 24-25 is projected to be 6.95 million, which is about 69.54 lakh tons. which is marginally lower than the last year's Kharif pulses production of 6.974 million tons, which is 69.74 lakh tons. The tuber production for the year 2024-25 is expected to be around 35.02 lakh tons, which is 3.5 million tons, which is slightly higher than the last year's production of 3.4 million tons, which is 34.17 lakh tons. The tuber prices have significantly come down in last 2 months, and now they have stabilized at a very reasonable level. Although the trade sources indicate a robust tuber crop, especially in the state of Maharashtra and Karnataka, it is rather early to project the production scenario based on the preliminary assessment. The decline in the production of Kharif pulses for 24-25 can be majorly attributed to the excess rainfall in some of the growing area, resulting in a sharp decrease of urad production, which is estimated to be 1.2 million tons as against 1.6 million tons last year. The production of moong has marginally increased from 1.38 million tons, which is 13.83 lakh tons, in the current year 24-25. In comparison, the moong production last year was 1.15 million tons, which is 11.54 lakh tons. Friends, as you know, the pulses demand is ever increasing in India with the rising GDP levels in our country, coupled with the increasing awareness around the nutritional costs offered by the pulses. Many studies indicate the demand of pulses is expected to reach as high as 40 million tons by the year 2030. The government of India has made commendable strides in increasing the indigenous production, and IPGA has been supportive of the government of India's efforts to give a thrust for achieving self-sufficiency in pulses production. However, as you know, the pulses are primarily grown in the rain-fed areas of our country, and their production is highly susceptible to the monsoon and other climatic conditions. Hence, we at IPC believe that fostering strong bilateral trade ties with the countries like US, Australia, Russia, East African countries, Myanmar, and also with the emerging origins such as Brazil and Argentina will ensure the availability of pulses at affordable prices to cater to the rapidly growing pulses demand in our country. Friends, now I would like to make an announcement, of course, which you are aware about the Pulses Conclave, which is our flagship event, is all set to be conducted from 12 to 14 February at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. The Bharat Mandapam, which you all aware that hosted the G20 summit during India's G20 presidency last year in 2023, promises to be an ideal venue with the state-of-art facilities for having power-packed discussions that will shape the trajectory of global pulses sector going forward. We are getting huge response from a lot of origins which they want to participate and want to come with the delegation. US, my friend Sachin is also here. They have also promised a good number of delegates from United States. In a first of its kind, IPGA will be hosting a gala besides all other programs, which will be done in Bharat Mandapam. But we will be hosting the gala dinner and an award ceremony on the 13th of February at Purana Killa, which will prominently showcase India's rich history and cultural heritage over 5,000 years and will serve as a perfect platform for networking to the delegates coming far from and wide. The Pulses Conclave 2025 will be the theme around Pulses for Prosperity, Nourishment with Sustainability, and will explore the critical role of pulses in driving sustainable agriculture practices, enhancing global food security, and contributing to the economic prosperity. IPGA looks forward to welcoming eminent personalities, policymakers, senior government officials, ministers, foreign missions from pulses producing origins, and a large number of international pulses value chain participants for the Pulses Conclave 2025. Friends, I'm delighted to announce that we have more than 350 registration for today's webinar. As I conclude, I would like to once again welcome and thank all our expert speakers and enthusiastic participants for joining this webinar. I am confident that this webinar will present important insights about the pulses crop prospects as we approach the new Rabi season. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
Chandrasekhar ji. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Bimalji. Absolutely inspiring speech. Yes, I'm sure, as I said, IPGA is going from strength to strength, and there's a lot more work to be done, of course. Therefore, once again, let me on my behalf welcome each one of the participants. The number has now risen to 3 digits. And I'm sure it is going to grow in the next few minutes. Welcome to this IPGA Knowledge Series webinar jointly hosted with USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council. We are going to be discussing outlook for Kharif pulses production and, of course, Rabi sowing prospects, etc. I think this is a very, very interesting situation which we are in. Let me now invite Kunal Parak, is business head, Full Circle Commodities, and I want to invite him to share his thoughts, his views, his outlook on poor production over the next 10 minutes. Yeah. Kunal, the floor is yours.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Myself Kunal Parak from Full Circle Commodities, a global brokerage house. I'll be presenting my views on pigeon peas Kharif 2024-25 season. Starting with the weather, the overall weather and the monsoon was very conducive for tuber crop this year. Though La Nina surfaced in the month of October and we have seen prolonged rainfall, because of these prolonged rainfall, the tuber harvesting may get delayed by 2 to 3 weeks, but overall the crop looks much better than the last year. Looking at the MSP of tuber in 2022-23, where MSP was only 6,600 rupees, today the MSP by the government is 7,550 rupees per quintal. This year, over 4 million hectares of area was sown with the pigeon peas, tuber, and government is anticipating a production of 3.5 million metric ton. The yield is 869 kg per hectare approximately, which is higher than the previous 2 years. The government numbers are very close to the traders' estimate of 3.7 million metric ton. Earlier, we have seen there is a vast gap between the two numbers, but now these two numbers have come in sync with each other, which is very good for the trade. If we look at the imports in the current year, so these import numbers are accounting from December of any year to the November of the next year. So in this December 23 to November 24, we see the imports growing up by 7% vis-a-vis last year, touching the highest point of over 1 million metric ton. We have seen Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya emerging as the new source of pigeon peas tuber supplying into India. They have exported over 10,000 metric ton into India. We can see good sustained supply from these origins going forward as well. But the current production of India is very good. And with this production, we see that imports might come down going forward in the next year. And we are pegging the imports of next year at 800,000 metric ton. Or else you can see there is a deep correction into the imported tuber price, and we still import the same amount of quantities as we have imported in the current year. Looking at Myanmar, our neighbor, December 23 to 24, India is expected to import close to 300,000 metric ton of tuber. Last year, for the same period, the import was 269,000 metric ton. This year, the Burmese weather was very conducive, equally conducive as India, and the estimated sowing acreage was up by 10 to 15%. However, because of Indian demand, the carry of the stock is hardly 35,000 metric ton at the end of the November, and the prediction for the new season is pegged at 340,000 metric ton. Looking at Africa, another biggest source of imported tuber for India. Between December 23 to November 24, we are expecting Mozambique to supply 490,000 metric ton of tuber to India. Last year for the same period was 417,000. The stock availability as of 30th November 2004 is around 80,000 metric ton of tuar in Mozambique. For Tanzania, we are expecting an import of around 190,000 in the current year. Last year, it was 168,000, and the stock is hardly 10,000 metric ton in Tanzania. Now, the substitution effect, and this is what will drive the volatility into the coming season. If you see the year 2021-22, the demand and consumption of tuar was over 4.5 million metric ton in India. It was in fact touching 4.7 million metric ton. The availability in last 2 years was lower by 1 million metric ton. This certainly has resulted into demand destruction, and consumer has shifted to lentil and yellow peas as other plant protein source. Now we have to observe the consumer behavior very closely, that at what price point these consumers will come back into the tuar market. If you go back and look at the prices difference between the finished product, which is dal, between the lentil and the tuar dal, 2 years back, the difference used to be 30-35 rupees. Today, the difference as we are talking stands at 90 rupees, which is still higher. I mean, if you see this difference close down, if you see this difference coming back to around 40-45 rupees, you will see some good demand flowing into tuar. This is the supply and demand scenario which we foresee in the year to come. We have taken the production number of 3.7 million metric ton as per the traders, pegging the imports at 800,000, the total supply of 4.5. If you see the consumption number, which will be the price game and the trick here for the coming season, looking at 21-22, the consumption was around 4.7 million metric ton. We see a consumption of 500,000 lesser than what it was in 21-22, but still we see a consumption of 500,000 more than what it was in 22-23 and 23-24, because this year the product is available and we see this product getting consumed into the markets. MSP, the question here is that will the MSP be the backbone of the trade? The MSP for the season is 75 rupees 50 paisa per kg, or you can say 75,050 rupees per quintal. As government has very negligible amount of produce of tuar stock, we see government participating and procuring at MSP if at all market comes and trades there. Simultaneously, the farmer got benefited in the last 2 seasons with good prices. Farmer has the holding power, and we don't see farmer going desperate and selling it below the MSP. This is the market update, the current factors, and how we see the market spanning out into a very short term. Currently, we see very weak demand into dal meals, very weak demand from dal meals. At the same time, there is lack of product available in the local market. We see some amount of demand getting generated from state tenders in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, which will keep the prices well supported for another 3 to 4 weeks. Now, entering into the new season, we see a growth in yield in Maharashtra and Karnataka. Maharashtra product will arrive into the market by December, and Karnataka product will arrive into the market by November end. The current buying strategy for the dal mills, they are just buying need based, and they are preparing very hard for the upcoming harvest. There are a lot of dal mills which closed down their operations because of non-availability of the raw material, and they are now planning to start their operations looking at the good crop number in the coming year. Tuar prices are likely to open and trade with good volumes in the month of January, and prices can come around MSP, maybe 5% up, and below the MSP is a very good buying zone. We see the prices coming around MSP because the lemon tuar forward trade for the January month is happening at around rupees 7,900 per quintal. The government is continuously monitoring the tuar prices, and definitely Indian government has done a tremendous job by taming the food inflation tiger. The stable consumption demand, looking at the wedding season going forward, keeps the tuar demand also very stable and steady into the market. Where the prices are going. This is the chart which is reflecting the 6-year prices. These are the seasonality chart, or you can say these are the chart month on month basis. If you see the chart, you can point out that in the month of January, prices generally hit the bottom and then gradually goes up and remains stably up till the month of May and June. It only starts coming down or cooling off with the mango season setting into. So January can give a very good buying opportunities to the millers, to the traders. please keep an eye on this month and see if the prices are around the MSP. It is definitely into a buying zone. Also, I would like to mention that previous critical resistance of 84 rupees on domestic Akola Tuar can act as a very strong support in the coming season. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kunal, for this very comprehensive presentation. Very interesting. I'm going to share some thoughts with the participants. But before that, I want to tell the technical team I was not able to see the slides full screen. Please make sure the slides are on full screen. This is number one. Number two, I want to again request the participants, if you have questions, and I'm sure you will have questions, please post them in the Q&A box. That'll be very interesting, and we'll take up all the questions to be answered by the expert panel towards the concluding part of this webinar. Kunal, very interesting talk. I was looking at the Tuar production numbers, and there is it's a matter of concern for the government. Tuar prices, obviously, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen production 2021 4.3 million tons. 21-22, 4.2 million tons. 22-23, 3.3 million tons. And in 23-24, marginally up 3.4 million tons. And now they have estimated it at 3.5 million tons. Personally, my sense is the actual production will be higher than 3.5 million tons. I'm looking at closer to 4 million tons. Okay. For various reasons. Number one, major growing states have received clear surplus rainfall. Yes, some pockets definitely had excessive rainfall, which obviously caused some damage. But in my view, there is a section of the trade which is exaggerating this damage. Okay. For I'm not a trader, but I'm an analyst, and therefore I would actually put the Tuar crop at not less than 4 million tons or 40 lakh tons is the first proposition. Second proposition, probably many people did not read the circular from the government of India, which placed Tuar production at 35 lakh tons or 3.5 million tons. Look at the last para. The crop yield estimates are majorly based on trend stroke normal yield, coupled with other ground level inputs and expectations. This yield will undergo revision based on receipt of actual yield ascertained through conduct of crop cutting experiments during the time of harvest, which in turn would be reflected in the subsequent production. And therefore, the estimate of the government, first estimate, in my view, very clearly is not based on crop cutting experiments, but it's more of a guesstimate in my view. And the crop could potentially be higher than the 3.5 million tons that the government is projecting at this point of time, but it is subject to further revision. Would you agree with this observation?
Yes, sir. Certainly. The production number will be higher than the forecasted number. And correct. Interestingly, the production number in the government forecast generally was much higher than the traders number or the production estimate by the people at large. Yeah. Here it is the opposite. And I definitely see us going close to 4, but at least to 3.7. Correct. 3.8 maybe. In fact, I often commented in recent years, publicly spoke about it. I wrote on many occasions that many of the government production numbers are overstated. And I find here, this year, PULSES crop production is actually understated. My own sense of the total KHARIF PULSES production is close to 8 million tons, vis-a-vis 7.1 million tons of last year. But here the government says it's 6.9. Therefore, I think this will certainly go for a fairly large revision as we go forward. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. Wonderful. Thank you, Kunal, for the very comprehensive presentation. I'm now going to invite our friend Rajesh Agarwala, who's the Executive Director of the Premier Pulses Limited. Rajesh Bhai has been in this trade for decades, and he knows this market like the back of his hand. Therefore, it'll be interesting to hear from him his thoughts and views on the black market, the urad market. Rajesh Bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. So nice of you for introducing me. I thank Bimal Kothari as well as Satish Upadhyay and all the IPGA team for giving me the opportunity to speak upon the topic Urad. It's totally my extemporary speech. Nothing is there except some statistic about Urad. Let me tell you, this year the Kharif crop was less. The outcome of the Kharif crop was less. It was approximately 12.9 metric lakhs of metric ton, which was it was very less. It initially it was expected that we'll get it more, but because of excessive rain, there were some damages in the crop. But the late arrival of the crop also gave us the less time for the limited crop to be consumed. Whereas the Rabi crop for the last 3 years, if you see, in 22-23 it was 6.33, and in 23-24 it was 4.87 lakh tons. Let us presume the last year production of Rabi crop will come this year, as because the rain has been widespread in all the northeastern part of India, Odisha, Bihar, Cuttack and West Bengal. They all will be sowing Urad. So if that comes in total, we believe this year the total Urad production may go up to 16.97 lakh tons, whereas we are still having a shortfall of Urad. But the time period, if we calculate, we are importing from Myanmar on an average of 70,000 metric tons per month, which is from April to March this year. We have imported 6 lakh 7,000 from the Myanmar. But from April onwards till the month of September, we imported 4 lakhs totally approximately. So our shortfall was compensated by the Myanmar. And let us go for the Brazil. Brazil in the initially said that we will supply to India approximately 20 to 25 tons of metric tons of urad. But already 8,000 ton has come to India. And I believe another 6 to 7,000 tons more may be coming to India. So overall, there is no shortage of urad in our country. And one more surprisingly very interesting thing, which I got from Myanmar today, the cultivation in Myanmar is going up by 10 to 15% of MAPE this year. So it will be again 1 million ton of production they are expecting. And the cultivation has already started in Myanmar. And the new crop in Myanmar may start coming in the month of February first week or so, or second week onwards. So if we see the price scene of the last 10-15 days, the market was dropping of urad slowly and steadily. It went down by $50 to $60. This was only because of the cultivation report in Myanmar. We were getting it. And today, the market is a little bit up, but doesn't matter. And India will not be in shortage of urad, I can assure you, at any time in coming time. Because our Rabi crop will also start coming. And February onwards, Burma will give us, March and April, Andhra will give us, and then again, we are at the footsteps of the Kharif crop. If the rains are good, again we'll get it. One more thing I'd like to say, update about the urad. We are talking about 10% damage, 15% damage of the urad. Well, correct. It is a damage, no doubt. But Indian millers are so advanced in mechanism, in processing, that with so many separators, so many destoners, so many color sorters, they just take out the damaged quality outside of the good product. And those 80, 85, 90% product of the urad good product is consumed in a very good way. That was the major reason for the market not moving up. And one more thing I would like to put forth for the people, the urad people to know. In India, the crop of urad is from 60 to 75 days or 90 days.
Yes.
Initially, the rains comes in Maharashtra, then MP, then Rajasthan and UP. Maharashtra, the crop is 60-65 days. MP, it is 70 to 75 days. Rajasthan, it is 90 days. So if systematically everything goes on, the urad crop keeps on coming all the time throughout the year in our country. And if all these states give good crop and interstate movement of urad is less or no, then no chance of urad crop prices of urad going high, and the consumer can always be very happy with the low prices. This has happened this year because of the damaged crop. It has not intermoved too much. So locally it was consumed in a different way. Burma will give us a very good crop, very good quality, but there are some rumors. Further, I request the importers, traders, and even the millers of our country, please do not fall in the rumors of
Absolutely.
the WhatsApp groups and other things. There are certain catalyst people coming in the market. Catalyst people coming in the market for some time. They play and they go out and they damage the whole industry. So we have to be careful with them. We cannot stop them, but we can always take care of ourselves and keep away from them. So sometimes I don't understand, Mr. Chandrasekhar, one thing I'd like to ask you. I
Yeah.
don't understand. What is the reason prices going by 400 to 500 rupees in a day and same time going down in a one day? This is only because of those catalyst people who are non-performing people who do not invest money and just play with the people of the invested people's money, and they spoil everything market. They come in and they go out, and the miller, importer, trader, everyone has to pay the penalty for it. So this is one very thing we have to be very careful and keep away from these rumors and these things. Well, my speech is very short. It is totally extemporaneous. If anyone has any question, they can WhatsApp me, can email me. I will try to convince them what I have said. I thanks everyone, all the participants for hearing me. Satish Upadhyay is my favorite, who always support me and ask me. He gave me just 2 days time this time that you have to speak. But I thought, okay, I will speak. I have married in my family, but still, I found it out. Vimal is my big brother from the childhood time from Guwahati. And Chandrasekhar ji, you know, you are a very good friend of mine. I thank each and everyone for all the time to come, and my good wishes and blessings to the youngsters, and pranam to all the elders for everything. Thanks a lot, Chandrasekhar ji, and all that.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh ji. Very absolutely matured presentation. The point that you made, there are vested interests, there are speculators who spread a lot of disinformation in a way that looks very credible. Therefore, and I know of a few people, and I also know of some people who are paid by overseas suppliers and exporters to talk to toe a particular line. I'm aware of that. But abhi kya kare? Therefore, our Indian market participants should know what is credible information and what is not credible information. That's exactly where the role of the association comes in. The association should be able to separate the wheat from the chaff and ensure
you have completed that paragraph which I did not speak.
Right.
So nice of you, Mr.
Very, very interesting. But just very quickly, one observation on urad. The 5-year average acreage for urad, I'm talking only of the Kharif season, not the Rabi season, is about 37 lakh hectares, which in 23 last year was 33 lakh hectares. This year it was down by 2 lakh hectares. It was 31. And the production target fixed by the government was 18 lakh tons. I remember I gave my forecast of the Kharif crops, including the pulses crop, by the end of September. And I placed it between 16 and 17 lakh tons as far as urad is concerned. But in October, obviously, excessive rains brought probably about 10% of damage, which would still make the urad crop anything between 14 and 15 lakh tons, and not 12 lakh tons, which is stated by the government of India in its first estimate. Therefore, again, like poor urad crop also, in my view, will come up for upward revision, at least by 2 or 3 lakh tons.
That's why I did not reduce the Rabi crop figure.
Exactly, correct.
And the government has taken out some of the damages which they have not considered. I have considered the damage in a good quality.
Right.
So I don't, and that is the reason the market has not moved up. And the millers are getting the urad at a very comfortable price.
Thank you, Dada. I think this is very interesting. I think this is a kind of message that must go to IPGA members and other participants saying, don't fall prey to disinformation. That's what is extremely important. So
Thank you, Chandrasekhar ji. Thank you, Chandrasekhar ji, so much.
Perfect, perfect. Let me now move to Sachin Khurana, India representative for the USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council. Sachin is going to talk to us about the prospect of pulse trade between India and USA. You know, we have had a fantastic trade relationship, and therefore, Sachin, probably over the next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but let me allow you 6 minutes, okay? 20% more. Please take us through the trade prospects.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar ji. I hope the government of India would also be as kind to allow us 20% more. That's what we'll hope and pray for.
Good one. Good one.
But good evening and good morning, everyone. I'm Sachin Khurana. I lead US Pulses in India. It's been an honor to be a part of the Pulses industry, which is such a vibrant industry on both sides of the world. I mean, be it in India or the US, it's such a dynamic industry. It's just been a wonderful journey for me to be a part of this. It is, of course, great to be speaking with all of you. And Chandrasekhar ji raised some very valid points in terms of the role that IPGA plays in creating platforms like this, which actually allow industry experts to come and share what's happening in the industry, but even their future outlooks, which becomes so important for all of you to conduct your business on a daily basis. So before I really go into anything else, I'd really like to thank IPGA as well as Bimal ji for creating these platforms. The webinar and the series allows us to share regular updates with industry members. And also, I'd like to thank all the fellow panelists. We've heard from Rajesh ji, we've heard from Kunal, and we're going to hear from a lot of other friends as well. I see a lot of familiar faces, a few new ones as well. And in fact, a couple of those who were with us when we went for a crop tour earlier this year. US crop looks good this year, and the India-USA Pulses trade relationship also continues to evolve dynamically. I'm glad that all of us are working together to build the markets further. I think that's the most critical journey for all of us to really work with each other hand in hand. It's not just up to IPGA and USA IP and Lentil Council, which I'm honored to be a part of, but I think to each and every trade member and industry member to really work with each other and guide us on how we could make this better, how we could make the business go further for you and for us. And what really makes this partnership particularly valuable is the complementary nature of our crops as well as our growing season. I think there's a huge opportunity for us to grow the business on both sides, and events like this really bring both the industries together. So again, thank you so much, IPGA and Bimal ji and everyone at the IPGA team. I'm not really going to dwell too much into the US Pulses crop scenario. And Chandrasekhar ji, thank you so much for allowing me the extra time. But I really don't need to do that because I'm really honored that we are joined by our CEO, Tim McGreevy, today. Tim is a wealth of knowledge on the US industry, and I'm so glad that he could be with us for this update. I'm really looking forward to knowing more from him about the coming season, and I'd really like to actually hand it over to Tim for the detailed overview. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chandrasekhar ji, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, IPGA, for giving me the opportunity. And please reach out to me if you have any questions, if you need further information. But I'd really like to hand it over to Tim for the crop update today. And I'm just excited as all of you to hear more about it. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Is he online or is he?
We have the message.
Okay. Right.
IPG team, could we request you to play that message, please?
Okay. Otherwise, I would say hi to Tim. Anyway, well, you can convey it on my behalf. Okay.
I will do that.
But I want it full screen.
Welcome to the USA Pulses 2024 Harvest Update. I'm Tim McGreevy, CEO of USA Pulses. USA Pulses is an innovative group of organizations that includes the USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council, the US Pea and Lentil Trade Association, and the Pulse Foundation. We represent farmers, processors, exporters, and food manufacturers of dry peas, lentils, chickpeas, and dry beans in the United States. Namaste to all of my friends in the pulse crop industry in India. I would like to thank the India Pulse and Grain Association for being our partner in hosting this webinar today. The IPGA and USA Pulses share a long history of collaboration. Traders in the US and India have spent more than 60 years working together to bring USA Pulses to Indian consumers. I would like to thank each of you in the audience for joining this session today. At USA Pulses, our goal is to double pulse crop consumption and production. We are committed to this goal because we believe pulses can help end world hunger, completely revolutionize our food system, improve the nutrient quality of every diet. We believe they can lower carbon and water use in our food system and support family farming operations and rural communities. At USA Pulses, we would like to applaud the IPGA and every person in this room for working to improve the health of our people, our soils, our water, and planet by increasing consumption and production of dry peas, lentils, chickpeas, and dry beans. The USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council has been promoting high-quality dry peas, lentils, and chickpeas since Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in 1984. The strong relationships between the traders in both countries resulted in India becoming our #1 market for decades. In the past 10 years, trade policies and trade tariffs between our two countries dramatically reduced sales of U.S. pulses to India. In crop years 2021 and 2022, the U.S. shipped very few pulses to India. But in June 2023, our two governments signed an agreement that ended the 20% tariff disparity and returned U.S. lentils and chickpeas to the same tariff as other exporting countries. In the 2023 crop year, the U.S. shipped over 37,000 metric tons of yellow peas, green lentils, and chickpeas to India. Due to advanced sales prior to harvest, we have already exceeded our shipments to India last year in the first 3 months of the marketing year, which began on July 1st. After the elections in the United States on November 5th, the pulse trade in both countries will need to strengthen our resolve and collaboration to ensure the trade tensions between our two governments does not disrupt the flow of pulses. President-elect Trump has talked frequently about placing a 10% tariff on all imports coming to the United States. Our organization is reaching out to the Trump transition team and potential cabinet members of the potential harm a trade war would inflict on U.S. farmers. We will need to work together to keep trade tariffs on pulse crops out of the tariff discussion in both countries. U.S. dry pea, lentil, and chickpea suppliers have gained a reputation for being the standard of quality from customers around the world. All U.S. shippers adhere to the highest food safety standards with independent third-party verification and certification programs. Every export shipment of U.S. pulses is inspected by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Federal Grain Inspection Service. The USDA is an independent grading service that gives our buyers peace of mind that they will receive the quality that was agreed to in the contract. The grading standards used by the USDA are published and followed by the inspectors to ensure the quality of the shipment is delivered per the contract. Farmers in the Pacific Northwest planted into good subsoil moisture going into planting this spring. The growing season was cool with limited moisture through June. Then July brought unusually high temperatures, nearing 37 degrees Celsius for at least 2 weeks. The high temperatures shut down flowering and hurt yield potential. Now, farmers east of the Rocky Mountains in Montana and North Dakota started out with decent subsoil moisture reserves as they started planting. Rains during the growing season were spotty in Montana. Hot temperatures in July also reduced yield potential in the Big Sky state. Most pulse producers in North Dakota had timely rains during the growing season and pretty good harvest weather. North Dakota scored the highest pulse yields in the country in 2024. As a general rule, farmers who planted their dry peas, lentils, and chickpeas early this year saw average to above average yields. Late-seeded pulses suffered below average yields. Now we interrupt this program to bring you breaking news on the world of cricket. The International Cricket Council just announced that India will play Pakistan in the Champions Trophy in February 2025. Team India's refusal to travel to Pakistan for the tournament has been a huge problem. Stay tuned for a list of possible locations later in this broadcast. Now, back to our regular scheduled program. In March 2024, the USDA announced they would be cutting expenses by dropping acreage and production reports for lentils in Idaho, dry peas in South Dakota, and chickpeas in California. The following report is a combination of the USDA National Ag Statistics Service acreage and production report published in September of 2024 and estimates of acreage and production from our internal sources at USA Pulses. Let's take a look at the 2024 USA chickpea crop. Chickpeas are grown in several regions in the country with heavy production in the northern tier states of Washington, Idaho, Montana, and North Dakota. Farmers in the United States have a long tradition of planting cafe-type Kabuli chickpeas. Large cafe-type Kabuli chickpeas that range from 8 to 10 millimeters are the predominant variety planted by U.S. growers. Small cafe-type Kabuli chickpeas that range from 6 to 8 millimeters are the second largest produced chickpeas in the country. There is a small acreage of Desi chickpeas that are grown in the U.S., and there is also a small acreage of organic Kabuli and Desi chickpea varieties produced in our country as well. The European Union, Pakistan, the Middle East, and South America have been strong markets for U.S. Kabuli chickpeas for the past 10 years. India was a top 5 market for U.S. Kabuli chickpeas prior to the trade wars in 2017. U.S. chickpea exports to India dropped to 0 during the 22-23 marketing year. The tariff equalization deal signed in June 2023 resulted in just under 1,000 metric tons of U.S. chickpeas shipped to India last year, and we are hoping for more sales to India in this marketing year. Farmers planted 532,000 acres of chickpeas in 2024. This is a 43% increase from last year and 170,000 acres above the 5-year planted acreage average, which was 362,000 acres. We can forecast that environmental factors reduced the number of chickpea acres harvested in 2024 to 524,000 acres, but it is still a 45% increase over the acres harvested last year. U.S. small chickpea yields were pegged at 1,339 pounds per acre, 6% lower than last year and 2% lower than the 5-year average. Large Kabuli chickpea yields were reported to be 1,195 pounds per acre, which is 77 pounds per acre lower than last year and 2% lower than the 5-year average yield. U.S. chickpea production is forecast to increase to 309,000 metric tons in 2024. This is a 44% increase over the chickpea crop harvested in 2023. The production of large Kabuli chickpeas was projected to be 224,000 metric tons. Hot weather during the flowering stage of plant development reduced the overall seed size of the large Kabuli chickpeas this year. Small Kabuli chickpea production was estimated at 85,000 metric tons, and crop quality of both large and small Kabuli chickpeas is reported to be excellent in the 2024 crop year. Chickpea stocks at the end of last year were tight at 62,000 metric tons. We believe carryover stocks could increase to 90,000 metric tons by the end of this marketing year because of the increased production. Strong early domestic and export demand will keep carryover stocks at manageable levels by the end of this marketing year. However, 9 to 10 millimeter Kabuli chickpeas could be in short supply by the end of the season. Prices for U.S. chickpeas is expected to remain firm in marketing year 24-25. Small Kabuli chickpea prices have softened a little post-harvest. However, most of the small chickpeas are contracted to the hummus manufacturers in the U.S., with a small percentage going to export destinations. Large 9 mm plus chickpeas have maintained a fairly firm tone early in the marketing year. Suppliers are reporting that large caliber chickpeas could be in short supply by the end of the 24-25 campaign. So let's look at the U.S. dry pea forecast in 2024. Farmers in the United States planted a little over 1 million acres of dry peas in 2024. This is a 4% increase from a year ago. The occasional hailstorms and droughted out spots reduced the harvested acres of dry peas to 978,000 acres this year. This is a 37,000 acre increase from the harvested acres in 2023. Dry pea yields in 2024 were 6% higher than last year at 2,036 pounds per acre. This is over 200 pounds above the 5-year average yield of 1,817 pounds per acre. U.S. dry pea production is right at 903,000 metric tons in the 24-25 crop year. This is 10% higher than the dry pea crop harvested in 23. USA Pulses estimates the total yellow pea crop to be 644,000 metric tons in this crop year. The yellow pea crop is 160,000 metric tons higher than last year and 42% higher than the 5-year average of 454,000 metric tons. We have some yellow peas to sell. We hope the government of India extends the tariff waiver on yellow peas past December 2024. Dry green pea production is projected to be 260,000 metric tons in crop year 24-25. This is 77,000 metric tons lower than a year ago. Growers planted fewer acres of green peas this year. We are not able to sell green peas into India at this time, unfortunately, but we continue to work with our partners at the IPGA and the Government of India to eliminate the restrictions and lower tariffs on dry green peas in your country. We expect growers will increase their acreage of green peas in 2025. Yellow pea production could suffer in the coming year if prices don't rebound to levels similar to last year. Dry pea stocks on hand are expected to increase to 180,000 metric tons at the end of this crop year. Most of that carryover will be in yellow peas. Green pea stocks are forecast to be sold out by the end of this marketing year. Prices for U.S. dry peas have dropped off the highs of the past 2 years. There is a wide price spread between green and yellow peas, which is expected to continue for the rest of the marketing year. This chart shows historic grower prices and does not account for processing, cleaning, transportation, or financing. And now back to cricket news. I have it on good authority that the United States national cricket team, which is famous in all regards, has agreed to host the Champions Trophy contest between India and Pakistan at, you guessed it, Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Buy your tickets today. Mouse ears come with a package. Okay, so maybe it's not so true, but as a strong cricket fan, I thought I might attempt to manifest it. Plus, who doesn't want to go to Disney World? It's time to take a look at the 2024 USA lentil crop. Lentil production in the United States is grown along the northern border states of Washington, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota. Farmers in the states of Washington and Idaho have a long history of planting a medium-sized green and slightly mottled regular or brewer-type lentil for domestic customers and clients in Europe. The small brown or Pardina lentils secure most of the planted acres in the Pacific Northwest, with strong interest from buyers in Europe and Latin America. The majority of the lentils grown in the U.S. are produced east of the Rocky Mountains in Montana and North Dakota. The most popular lentil in this region is the medium-sized green lentil. Avondale or Richleys are the varietal names of these lentils planted by our growers. This lentil has a clear seed coat with a bright yellow cotyledon when decorticated. It has proven to be an excellent substitute for pigeon peas in India because of its bright yellow color. The eastern part of our growing region also produces small acreages of red lentils, large green lentils, and a growing acreage of small green Eston-type lentils. Low stock levels and strong grower prices going into spring planting of 2024 resulted in a 71% increase in planted acreage of lentils in the United States. Acreage planted lentils jumped from 546,000 acres last year to nearly 950,000 acres in 2024. Hail damage and other environmental factors reduced the actual harvested acres of lentils to 907,000 acres in 2024. This is a 372,000 acreage increase from the 5-year average in the United States. Growers were hoping for better yields in the 2024 season, but the hot weather during the tail end of the plant's development resulted in yields being 3% below last year. The average lentil yield in the United States was 1,060 pounds per acre. This is slightly above the 5-year national average yield of 1,046 pounds per acre. Lentil yields in the Pacific Northwest and Montana came in just a little over 1,000 pounds per acre, while North Dakota lentil yields led the industry at over 1,250 pounds per acre. The dramatic increase in planted acreage of lentils resulted in a 67% increase in U.S. lentil production from last year. U.S. lentil farmers put 435,000 metric tons in their bins in 2024. This is a 175,000 metric ton increase over the 2023 harvest. USA Pulses estimates the total medium-sized green lentil production, which is the Richley Avondale type lentils, to be about 330,000 metric tons in 2024. That's up 134,000 metric tons from last year. Small lentil types like Pardina and Eston lentils are projected to be 69,000 metric tons. Red lentil varieties are forecast at 26,000 metric tons, with large green lentils estimated at 8,698 metric tons in the United States. Lentil stocks on hand are expected to be higher than last year, but strong early demand at the beginning of the marketing year, led by India, is expected to keep pressure on lentil stocks, with 65,000 metric tons or less forecast to be carried over to the 25-26 marketing year. Prices for U.S. lentils dipped at harvest, but rebounded in October. Growers were disappointed in their lentil yields, and they have been holding for higher prices. Lentil stocks at the end of last marketing year were below the 5-year average. It appears that lentil stocks will be tight again at the end of marketing year 24-25. The 2024 lentil harvest has been completed in the United States. Growers and processors report that the quality of lentils in the U.S. this year is excellent. If prices remain strong in early 2025 and tariffs on lentils remain at current levels, I expect farmers will plant another 1 million acres of lentils in 2025. Of course, if prices drop in the spring or if tariffs are reinstituted, we could see a dramatic decline in planted lentil acreage next year. So let's get personal. I planted Pardina lentils on my farm in eastern Washington state this year. They were planted on April 15th, which is the day Americans file their federal tax returns. A great day in every American's life. A few of my neighbors planted their lentils 15 days ahead of mine. And it turns out the early bird seeders had yields 30% higher than my yields. Unfortunately, my lentils did not receive much rain in June, and July was hotter than a ticket to Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh in Rohit Shetty's upcoming movie, sing 'em again. So, if you are in the market for some high quality lentils that will improve your heart rate, lower your cholesterol, and stave off diabetes, give me a call. I mean, I have 2 free Sing 'em Again movie tickets for the highest bidder. The sale includes an autographed copy of the best and baddest CEO in the pulse crop industry. Oh, that's me. And let's be honest. Who needs a cop universe when you are a player in the Pulse universe? Am I right, India? Am I right? I see you superheroes in the audience today. I would like to thank the Pulse industry in India and especially the IPGA team for joining with USA Pulses and the USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council to host this webinar. I have a terrific team in India led by Sachin Karuna and Shruti Gupta. If you would like more information about U.S. pulse crops and our suppliers, please reach out to our team at Quick Relations. We want your feedback on how we can meet your needs and the needs of your customers. Low stock levels and good grower prices led to significant increases in dry pea, lentil, and chickpea production in 2024. We have product to sell, and I encourage you to reach out to our many quality suppliers in the United States. The pulse trade is always exciting, and 2025 will be no exception. It will be important for us to continue to work together to keep the trade of pulses open as the political landscape changes in both of our countries. My time with you has come to an end. I truly believe that you are the superheroes of this world, and I bow before you with honor and respect as you go about your work of feeding the world. I see the divine in all my friends in India, and I acknowledge our long history of working together. We are 2 great countries. We are interconnected. Until we meet again, Namaste.
Awesome. Tim, thank you very much. My friend Tim, thank you very much. You're a wonderful guy. We have known each other for long years, and I always admired your very breezy kind of presentation. You put your audience at ease, and therefore it's wonderful. Thank you very much for that detailed presentation update on the US pulses, and I'm sure Sachin will take this message to Tim in his own way. Moving on, I want to invite Satish Upadhyay, who's of course, he actually needs no introduction, but let me mention, in spite of that, an international agri-commodities broker and indentor, Dalal Satish Upadhyay. Satish has long experience, and he's going to talk to us about chickpea or chana sowing scenario in India. Satish, the floor is yours. And he has a presentation. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. And thank you all for joining this immense valuable webinar. I'm going to talk about chana, which is a very important and interesting crop in India. As we call it as a pulses ka raja, king of all pulses. The share in the entire pulses basket of the single pulses chana is 40% of the entire pulses basket in India. And we are the largest producer, largest consumer, and now we will be a largest importer from Australia as well. So, okay. So I will just go ahead with my team. IPGA has made a presentation for me. So as we'll go fast by fast because they have made a long presentation. So I wanted to curtail some points. Chana prices has fallen by 11% from 8,000 to 7,125. Today it is 7,000 only. So it has fallen almost 13-14% from the in the last 2 months, which is mainly because of the cheaper imports coming from the Australia and the cheaper import coming from Australia and the cheaper import of yellow peas has caused the price to price has gone down drastically in the chana market. Even though we had a shortage of uh, chana in the last year sowing, but the consumption could not reach because cheaper yellow peas has supported the price rise, and some factors like Bharat Dal, and now the cheaper offering of Australian chana of November, December, and December, January shipment, which is now controlling the prices. Even the prices are coming down due to the cheaper availability, cheaper import coming from Australia. And I will go by point. Chana faces several negative factors. What are the negative factors which Chana is facing? The demand was below expectation during the festive period, with typically lower post-Diwali demand. So we see after Diwali, the demand of chana or chana dal and basil come down after, it's a big festival period and everyone is carrying the stock at home, and as well as, the Okira industry and other demands come down. This is what we see from the general last, 10 years experience. High import of cheap yellow peas. This is a major point that yellow peas import has almost now will be coming to 3 million tons. Now we have crossed 2.5 million tons since last December to this December, and another 5 lakh metric ton will be coming in the next month or till the December 31st. So that is the cause of concern for chana price rise and chana dal. Chana dal prices gap between the yellow peas and chana dal has widened. That's why the chana dal demand has come down to a 40% of yellow peas, and we have an offtake of around 2 lakh metric ton of yellow peas in last 3 months. Every month, the 2 lakh metric ton of additional this yellow peas has been processed, and the yellow peas dal is competing with the chana dal. Yellow peas dal is very cheaper. That's why chana dal demand has distracted. Third point is Australian chana price dropped 25%. As we all know, the Australian chana started from around 680, 700, and it reaches to 930, 940. Okay, the average prices was 915, and now it has come down to 680 level, 685 level. And again today I heard that the January February shipment is offered at $655. So the Australian farmers, they grow approximately 1.5 to in between 1.5 and 2 million metric ton. And now the window is open till 31st of March. The product should reach, the Australian chana should reach to Indian port. So now they are hurry up because their FOB prices have come down so drastically. So yesterday I've talked with the farmers and the other friends. The price of FOB has come down to as low as 590 FOB plus $40 spread. So it is coming between 630, 640, the offering price, from the cost of procurement for the exporter of Australia. So that is causing the chana price down. Sale of Bharat Dal is another factor that government wanted to intervene at a retail price level. So they started the scheme of, Bharat Dal in all the commodities, like in food, like in moong, like in chana. So this Bharat Dal is causing demands destruction. It is offering at a very, subsidized rate. So that's why the dal from the millers or the retailers dal demand is coming down. Fifth point is there is a liquidity crisis in the pulses market due to price level in all the pulses export in China. As we all know, Indian pulses market has suffered huge losses since last 5-6 months. First, the traders, importers, and millers have suffered because of yellow peas. Government has given 3, 4, 5 extensions, and every time the prices of yellow peas has come down, and every yellow peas importer, trader, and processor has suffered huge loss. Then the tour scenario comes where the prices has down to almost 40 rupees a kg in East African African tour, and now the prices has come down as below as 68 rupees below MSP of the African tour. which is very a cause of concern. Importer imported huge quantity and they are suffering huge losses because of this price fall in the tour as well. Chana Now, chana sowing acreage is expected to increase due to a good monsoon this year. This point is little bit worry because there are news coming in from the late sowing, and in some areas like in Karnataka, like in Maharashtra, the sowing has not picked up so fast, but still it is picking up. And day before yesterday, we were with the government department, with the consumer affairs secretary. So they informed that the sowing has been picking up, and it will be coming to the last year's. It will be more than then. In fact, they said it will be more than 5 to 10% of the last year. So the cause of late sowing was not no more, and it has been. I'll cover in the next para. It has been improving. Now, point number 2 is positive factors for chana. What are the positive factors for chana? As we all know that the new crop will come of the chana, which is 1 month late, will come in the month of March, February and March. And we have a very limited stock with the traders. It's approximately 6 to 7 lakh metric ton. It's market sources. And government is having almost 3 to 4 lakhs. It's not more than that. So the consumption of, suppose if we consider that 4 lakh metric tons of chana dal required per month. So for 4 months, we required 16 lakh metric tons of chana. And we are about 10 lakh metric tons, suppose if the entire private stock and government stock used for the processing. But now the picture comes in that the Australian chana, how much the Australian chana will come into the market before 31st of March. So our expectation that one vessel has already been coming on the 19th of this month, which carrying around 30,000 metric tons of chana. And another 5 to 6 vessels are on the port, which by the end of, by the mid of or end of December, that will reach. And the market sources and our estimates say that the import till the 31st March, if everything goes smooth, will be in between 6 to 8 lakh metric tons. So that is what we can think of. Positive factors for the chana is a low stock, okay. Government agency have a low stock, okay. Delay in sowing. So 1 month delay in sowing has also, 1 month's demand will add to the present stock scenario. Now the expected demand for Ramjan in the month of Feb and a marriage season will help the chana price to recover. Future price trend, market expect predict that the chana price will fall. We will find support soon due to a limited stock. Just that is what I call you. Delay in sowing as caused the concern. So future price trend will depend on the Australian shipment price and the weather outlook for the February and March. And showing update how the weather will be in the month of February and March. That is a good cause, bigger cause, because last year we have suffered due to heat waves, in last year. That's in the month of February and March. So this year also a cause of concern, even if suppose if we have a last year's figure of sowing or maybe 5 to 10% more than that, but how the weather will support that is a big question mark for, chana price trend. And delay in all points of shipping status is Australia. As I told you, one vessel is reaching on the 19th of this month in Mundra. It's carrying almost approximately 30,000 metric tons of basic chickpeas, and another 5 to 6 vessels will be reaching in India by the end of December. And the price trend, as we know that the prices have started from 900, 2030 of the top, and now it has come present shipments prices are around 680, 685. Export is now going down. We have a negligible export of chana, which is going down because we are in short of this future chana product. Chana production in Australia is a big question mark because some agencies are saying that average is saying that it is 13.3, but other market sources is saying that it is a 2 million tons crop. And some agencies are saying that it is 15.5 to 16, 1.5 to 1.6 million ton crop. So average is around 1.5 to 6, and Australia traditionally export around 5 to 6 lakh metric ton to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and UAE. And this year, suppose if they export 7 to 8 lakh metric ton to India, then also Australia will be having a comfort position. Yellow peas import, as I told you, yellow peas we have imported around 2.5 million ton, and by the end of December, the figure will cross 3 million tons of yellow peas coming to India. Rabi chana sowing, state-wise, I told you, Karnataka, we have seen the crop will come as compared to as what we have similar to the last year. Madhya Pradesh also similar to a last year. Rajasthan will also have a similar to a last year. Initially, they were lacking in sowing, but now slowly the sowing has picked up, and government has took initiative and encouraged farmers to sow more chana. Like in Maharashtra, in Madhya Pradesh, some farmers are shifting for wheat or maize crop. But now, as per government report, they are sowing chana, and in the coming 2-3 weeks, because the sowing window is open till 30th of November. So we have still 2 weeks time for sowing. And as per government sources, that the chana sowing will be more than the last year, what they have told us. And as per our sources, it could be equal to the last year only. Uttar Pradesh, all states almost coming up. Only Gujarat is coming in a big way, and Gujarat sowing will be more than the last year. UP sowing we may see more than the last year. And the chart of state-wise sowing is there, down. State-wise sowing chart is there. Canada and US chickpeas production have given a figure, but they don't grow desi chickpea, and Kabuli chickpeas is not allowed to import. So that doesn't matter a lot.
Will you show that slide of state-wise sowing? Do you have that?
Yeah. Please take down. Hello. Yeah, state-wise sowing is there. Take below. Yeah.
All right. Is it from the Agriculture Ministry's website?
Yeah.
Okay, no, you're
data is from
only,
DA
sorry. You're only 23, 24. 24,
Yeah.
25 has not started yet.
Not yet.
I mean, the
not yet.
website doesn't show. Okay. The Central Weather Watch Group. Okay.
All the data
all right.
from the
So these
government
numbers
sources.
are available. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, this is my take from this, Chana. In totality, we see this SND position is very tight, and this market is under pressure because of, the the import of chana from Australia coming in a big way at a reasonably below 6,000 rate. So all stockists and traders are liquidating present stock and buying the future stock. So that's why the market is coming down physically also. S&D position is tight. Import will come to around 6 to 7 lakh metric ton. And we'll be having, neck to neck situation for the chana. So we have to wait and watch for the weather and Australian price and the yellow peas import. Suppose if the chana sowing is not picking up, then government may extend the import of yellow peas after December 31st, or government may extend the export of 31st March, the deadline for the Australian desi chickpea export. Yeah.
Is it all? Is it all?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Satish, for this fairly detailed presentation. You have shared your thoughts on this, on chana, the Rabi crop, most important pulse crop for India. Let me encourage each one of the participants to please use the Q&A box for raising questions. You're welcome, and our expert panel will, of course, attempt to answer each one of the questions. But let me share some thoughts on chana. The average area for chana in the last 5 years is about 11.3 million hectares. In 2023, it was 11.1. million hectares planted. But in 2024, it was down by 600,000 hectares. It was only 10.5 million hectares. This is first proposition. Will this trend continue or will it reverse? We don't know. We need to wait and watch. The point I want to make is last year we had El Nino, which means El Nino driven dry conditions. This year, La Nina was supposed to kick in by October, but there is a slight delay. Okay, and therefore possibly we will have La Nina conditions in January. And La Nina typically brings more rainfall than normal. Therefore, we need to hope, pray for La Nina to come in quickly and bring enough winter rains for all the crops, Rabi crops, to do well, whether it is wheat or rapeseed mustard or chana. And therefore that's one hope. For as Satish rightly said, weather is going to be quite crucial. Second, a big problem, again, in my view, for chana is the crop estimate. The government initially tends to overestimate the crop. Like it happened in 22, it happened in 23, it happened in 24. Therefore, I usually give my own crop estimate. I gave in 2024 an estimate of 10 million tons of production. And the government has come up with a 10.5 million tons. The government says it is 11 million. So it's only marginally higher. But more important was 2023. The government first estimated chana crop at 13.6 million tons. And I've written, argued with bureaucrats and spoken in public that I don't see it beyond 11 million tons. Subsequently, in the final estimate, it was brought down to 12.2 million tons. Even that, in my view, is slightly overestimated. Therefore, this estimation of crop becomes extremely important. It sends out very wrong signals to the marketplace. And when you have wrong production estimate, any market intervention based on that incorrect number will also not get you the right outcomes from a policy perspective. I think this is something the association needs to take up with the policymakers, with the government of India. For we don't know how things are going to pan out in 25. That's the planting season now starting, and into February and March 25. Hopefully La Nina will bring reasonably good precipitation and the crop should do well. But these are very, very early days, and therefore we need to keep our fingers crossed. But thank you, Satish, for the presentation. We are now the concluding speech always is for a charming girl called Harsha Rai. Okay, and she's a global sales head of Mayur Global Corporation. You can see her in all the conferences as a speaker, and therefore, Harsha, you're going to speak to us about lentils or masoor. What is the sowing scenario and your thoughts, your outlook? Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, IPJ, for inviting me to the knowledgeable webinar again. I would like to discuss here about red lentil scenario, the Rabi seeding scenario, and where are we seeing market and where was the market in last few months. So I would like to start here reminding what we discussed in our IPGA Bharat Dalan seminar in August in Delhi. As we discussed that this year, the last year, the imports have been phenomenal, 1.67 million ton, and how we actually consumed all of our imports and how the government was so keen to buy some imported lentils as a buffer stock, and how lentils actually behaved as a substitute for pigeon peas, 10 to 15%. So we did see that, the demand for lentils last year was very good as a substitute, as I mentioned before also. But this year, we again see lentils demand to be very good at these reasonable price. If we see that the fourth advanced estimate tells us that the production for lentils this year was around 1.79, which was a phenomenal production, I would say. The credit goes to the growers and, of course, the government for increasing the MSP for lentils and, supporting growers in terms of lentils, seeding more lentils. If we come to the import this year, we have noticed that since April till August, we have imported around, say, 3,90,000 tons of red lentils from all the origins. which is 40% less than last year. So again, our imported stocks at the ports are very minimum at this point of time, and our demand is continuous for lentils. If we look at the Rabi seeding this year, I think because of the disease issue that we saw in Madhya Pradesh last year and the wheat prices this year, I think the growers are more inclined towards seeding wheat and chana in Madhya Pradesh. But on the other side, the other major growing area, which is Uttar Pradesh, we expect the lentil seeding to go a bit higher and the peas acres could get compromised. Again, lentils need less water and we haven't seen a great soil moisture in UP as we have seen in Madhya Pradesh. So again, looking at the government stocks, the government is holding very good stocks for red lentils and the whole market is waiting to see that how these stocks will be offloaded, in what quantity, at what price in coming time. So if we talk about market going ahead, it totally depends upon what we see from Australian production this year, which would be much lesser than last year. Like we have just recently seen that the harvest at South Australia has been completed and the yields have not been really well. It's much poor than last year. So now we'll see how Victoria comes up with their yield. But overall, the production from Australia would be much lesser than last year. Say the market experts or the people on the ground expect it to be 1.2 million ton. And if you talk about Canadian red lentils production this year, it was much higher than last year. So say around 1.5 million ton. But again, in all this scenario, it is very important to see what kind of logistics issue are we seeing from other origins. The kind of rail strike and the kind of port strike which is going on in Canada is definitely affecting the container business at this point of time. So again, as I mentioned, that our production, as our stocks for imported lentils are quite low at the port, and we expect container arrivals to be less. So we are dependent on the bulk vessel arrivals. Coming back to again Rabi seeding, as I mentioned that Madhya Pradesh could be lesser than last year, but UP could compensate the same, and we might see more or similar seeding for lentils this year. Now we are totally dependent on weather as to see our growing weather this year and what kind of production will be seen coming time. And the next factor which is going to affect or decide the market direction, as I mentioned before, would be the government stocks, how they come into the market, at what price, at what time. So we need to really wait and watch here for next 2 months to get a clear direction for lentils market going forward from here. Hope this information is helpful to all of us.
Harsha, thank you very much. Always, Harsha has the last word, okay, on these matters. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Yes, I think we are at a critical juncture at this point of time to even look at what could be the likely area or seeded acreage, or what could be likely production of the Rabi crop would be a little speculative. It won't even be a guesstimate. It won't be, definitely it won't be informed estimate. So I think we need to wait and watch. The next 2 months are going to be crucial, particularly in terms of winter rains that are actually desperately required. Fortunately, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and the whole of South India has reasonably good subsoil moisture, and therefore that's a plus. But Eastern UP, Punjab, most parts of Bihar, Jharkhand, Gangetic West Bengal, these are regions with much less subsoil moisture than the rest of the country. And therefore, I think that can potentially. That's the reason
I think people are, like the growers will go more for wheat in Madhya Pradesh and more for lentils in UP, where they have a lot of manufacturing mills already running lentils. So they have an exit there.
Perfect. That's right. And therefore, that's something we need to watch. And of course, winter rains. That's the most crucial part, which could potentially be during December and January. And let's pray that La Nina kicks in as early as December, so that'll make for good Rabi crop. Also, pray that there is no heat wave in March and April, but that can potentially affect wheat. But yet, probably my part, a dozen questions. Bimalji, can we extend this by 10 minutes or so? Is that okay?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Perfect. I need the chairman's permission. Okay, thanks. So we have a dozen questions, very interesting. Mine is not okay. Let me go up. Yeah, please share the numbers which were discussed in the opening talk. Okay, I'll leave it to the association. Once they have the recording of all this, I'm sure they will share numbers with all the participants. Second one, Lewis, mine is not a question but a request. Is it possible for the presentations and recording to be shared with the participants? Again, I leave it to the chairman of the association and the committee members of the association to take a call whether it can be shared with all the participants.
This will be
Next.
done. This will be done.
It will be done. Okay, thank you very much, Luis. Oh, next, my friend from Brazil, Najla is here. Najla says, Ibrafe, I will have to ask regarding the import policy for tuor and urad. As Brazil turns its production to these two crops, we are anxious to know when the government of India intends to release a new policy for 2025 onwards. Yes. Anyone would want to answer? Kunal, what are your thoughts about?
Chandrasekharji, let me answer this.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
So you see, the government's the policy is till 31st March for the import of tuor and urad.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they are going to extend this. Of course, we don't have any indication, but they look at the production numbers, and as you see, the government's the prediction of Kharif crop, which is showing that the production has not increased as they were looking forward. So, in fact, the government's the tuor urad production has come down quite significantly, and also the tuor production has also is like the last year. So I'm sure that the government is going to extend, but this is not the final word. Ultimately, the final word has to come from the government, but we can anticipate that the government is going to extend this policy because looking at the production numbers, I'm sure that the government is not going to restrict it because the production of black mape, which Brazil is, because the concern is black mape. So black mape is, as per the government's prediction, the production has hit its lowest in last few years. So I'm sure the government is going to increase. That is the message we can give to our Brazilian friends, and I think we can look into the production accordingly.
Yeah. And let me add, there are 2 or 3 big challenges facing Indian agriculture in general, but certainly the pulses crops. One is, of course, land constraint. We are not going to be able to increase our cultivated land for pulses extensively. I think this, in my view, at least for the Kharif season, is reaching a saturation point. It's stagnating. Second one, of course, is climate change. This is catching up rapidly as far as India is concerned, and pulses crops are a lot more vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change, and therefore we need to double. India needs to double its efforts to increase its domestic production and reduce its import dependence. But much depends on policies, incentives, and the seriousness with which we implement these policies. I was just looking at some numbers. 2021-22, India's production was 27.3 million tons. Next year, 22-23, it declined to 26 million tons, more than a million ton drop. 23-24, it dropped by another million tons and more. It is only 24.2 million tons. For last 3 years, successive 1 to 1.3 million tons drop in production. This is very clearly the effect of land constraint, water shortage, and climate change. And therefore, I think that's a big challenge. Therefore, in fact, I would urge IPGA chairman to actually work with the government to ensure that there is a rebound in India's production. Anyway,
I'll just intervene you. So you see, as you said, the production is declining, and on the other hand, the demand is increasing. As I said, opening interest. So this is, I mean, there is going to be a double whammy effect. On one side, the production is going down, and on the other side, the demand is increasing. So I think definitely we are working with the government to, of course, production, but that is very subjective because we are dependent on the rain-fed areas, and and the production is and as we know that we do not grow the pulses in the cultivated land. So definitely our crops are susceptible to the monsoon and the weather conditions, particularly the global warming, as sometimes it's too much of the rain. Like this year, there has been too much of the rain, which has caused damage to some of the kharif crops. And last year it was the El Nino, which has due to the lack of water, we could not produce the large crops. So I think India, though of course, government of India is trying to achieve the self-sufficiency, but I think by 2030, if we require 40 million tons of pulses, I think we are going to see these imports continuing, and we need to work together with our the friends in origin, the different origins, and also the emerging origins like Brazil and Argentina.
Very true. Point taken. And because of this demand-supply mismatch, the market volatility will remain heightened, and the market participants have to exercise extra caution in taking trading positions. I just thought
I would like to add a point here, Chandrasekharji.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in Australia. I was just going through some chickpea fields here.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned that, the weather plays such an important role.
Yes.
We have seen such a drought condition in South Australia where we have seen how much the lentils have been affected. But if you look at chickpeas, it's beautiful color, it's beautiful crop. So same goes to India, as you mentioned in our winter crop. We are really dependent upon weather, to look at actual yields for beet, lentils, beet, chana. So that will be the main deciding factor apart from the seeding numbers that we are going to see.
Absolutely.
That's what
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for this update. There's a next question from Amit. Is there a mechanism to identify the imported pulses and lentils and native ones? Is packaging done separately? This is a need of the hour. I don't know who's going to respond to this, but let me mention from a legal perspective, from a customs perspective, when there are domestically produced goods and there are imported goods, usually when the imported goods get blended in the marketplace with the domestically produced goods, and they all come into the mainstream of the market, this separate identification of domestic and imported would be rather difficult, and it may not be even acceptable. This will lead to some kind of differentiation. And yet, if any importer or any seller, processor feels that if he is able to separate the imported material and maybe enjoy a premium over the domestic one, maybe they will be able to do it. But why is this the need of the hour? I don't know. But any of my co-panelists can respond also. Yeah. All right. So we'll go to the next one. What is the expectation 2024 December last week tour price? Anybody? What's his name? Kunal. What do you expect tour prices by the end of the year?
Sir, as I mentioned, like another 3 to 4 weeks, there are a couple of tenders expected into Andhra and Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Is well supported. December end will be too close to January, which is like time where prices actually start slide down, and the pressure of the new crop is also there into the market. So definitely, like not end of December, but definitely January, you will see the seasonal bottom coming into place.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Understood. Another one, anonymous. Is the import committed from Australia? Will the import committed from Australia be sufficient for next 4 months in India? And how much more quantity is needed before India new crop? Anyone?
Sir.
Satish?
Yeah, Mr. Chandrasekhar. As I told you in my presentation, that we are expecting around 6 to 7 lakh or maximum 8 lakh metric ton of chickpea is supposed to be come before 31st of March. And we are having S&D position here of say around 10 lakh metric ton. So our consumption for the coming 4 months will be around 15 to 16 lakh metric ton. So S&D is matching if we are importing say 6 to 7 lakh metric ton, and our S&D here is around 17 to 18 lakh. So it is matching. So there is no need to panic. If suppose Australia import more than 1 million ton, then there will be a pressure on the prices. And again, we have to watch how the crop progresses. Now the sowing data it's showing is still and the sowing has not yet completed. The window is still open. So how much sowing figures come, that also will lead to the price trend, as well as the stock position is it's with the import of Australian chickpeas. The stock position till the new crop comes will be in a comfortable position.
Okay, all right. There is another question. You mentioned chana consumption at 400,000 tons per month, and private players and government stock around 1 million tons. Imports around 5 to 6 lakh tons. But sir, will be needing good quantity for sowing, yes, of course. But this can build a supply and demand gap. That's the question. Do you think we need to do the S&D? So when you look at production, keep something back for sowing, keep something back for wastage. Obviously, you need to account for some wastage. Keep something back for direct edible consumption. I'm talking about chana. And then you will have the marketable surplus. And then you have the import. So Satish, do you look at some kind of a supply gap here?
Yeah, Mr. Chandrasekhar. I'd like to add to this that traditionally the November and December month are the lean period for the chana consumption. So in this 2 months period, we will see a lower demand for the chana and chana product and chana dal and besan. The demand rises from the mid, after the Sankranti, the demand for chana dal, chana besan rises. So we will be, that's why I've calculated 4 lakh metric ton in average. But in the coming 2 months now, November and December, the chana demand will be around 3 to 4 lakh ton. Plus, the cheaper yellow peas is also denting the demand of chana besan, chana dal also. And Australian import are coming. So it is putting a pressure on the stockists that they wanted to sell the stock position right now, and they wanted to buy the upcoming crop like December, January shipment or January, February shipment, which we are getting almost 10% lower than the present market price of the chana, stock price of the chana. So I don't think there will be, unless and until if there, if some pressure from the Australia or suppose if in case the Australian import will lead to a 1 million ton, then the pressure will be on the chana price. We have to wait and watch the crop position as well as the sowing acreage also.
Right. Very simply, the market is still evolving. It will continue to evolve over the next 2 months. And therefore, anything definitive that we say will be more speculative. We cannot say anything definitive at this point of time is what Satish is saying. Another question, Girish says, share how much India has imported, how much Fijian peas in 2024, this year, and how much is expected to come probably in the first quarter of next year. Kunal, any thoughts? Kunal, you are on mute. Please unmute. Yeah.
Sir. From December of 2023 till August of 2024, we have imported about 500,000 tons of Fijian peas, and in fact more than 500,000 tons of and September and October, the number of import will be around 2.3. So 230,000 in each month. And November will be close to 50,000. So overall, we are looking at imports for December 23 to November 24, touching more than 1 million. Around 1.07 million metric tons.
Okay. And first quarter 25? Because import is allowed till March 25. So what? Any thought? Any guess?
Sir, the Burma crop is ready to come into India. The speed of Burma crop is somewhere between 35,000 metric ton to metric ton every month. This is a sustained import which is coming into. Also,
right.
I said the stock ending position is 90,000 metric ton of pulses in Mozambique and Tanzania. 10,000 Mozambique. This all can come into India.
All right. Okay. All right. Next question. Sridhar wants to know what are your views on import deadline extension for yellow pea? It's $1 million question. A lot of people want answers to this. Who's going to respond?
Chandrasekhar ji, I think
Yeah.
rightly you have answered it already. It's a $1 million question.
Right,
Nobody
right.
would- It's
Very
everybody's
true, very
guess.
true, very
Yeah,
true.
nobody would be
My,
knowing
correct,
except the
my,
government what
yeah,
they have
yeah,
in
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
But if you ask me logically, it doesn't make any sense to extend it beyond this period because we are having a large stock in last couple of months. We have seen a large quantity has been imported into the Indian market. I think from the new crop shipments which has started in August September, we'll see about almost 800,000 to 1 million ton in between October to December. So of course, already we have seen about 400,000 ton or more than that has already arrived at Mundra.
Right,
So
right.
there are quite a few more shipments going to arrive in the month of
Right.
November in Mundra and Kandla as well as in eastern port of India. So I see that we are going to have a large quantity being imported during this period. And
Yeah,
let me tell you one thing that yellow peas import. I mean, the large, rather I'll say it has been dumped into the Indian market. So this import has affected our trade industry very badly. The impact overall has been so bad as Mr. Satish Upadhyay mentioned that trade has suffered huge this year due to this uncertain policy of the government because the yellow peas extension has been done 5 times in last 1 year. So this if the government would have extended it for a period of 1 year or they would have said that the import is allowed for 1 year, I think the trade would not have suffered. So these knee-jerk policies from the government has really suffered. I mean the trade has suffered very badly and it has hit all the pulses. Rather normally we say that yellow peas is the substitute of chana, but it is just not chana. It has hit the demand of most of the pulses because this has been the cheapest pulse. Rather, if you look at this pulse, the price today is about 33, 34 rupees, which is close to like the price of wheat and other cereals. So pulses has been always much more expensive than the wheat and cereal because you can't compare it to the cereals and grains. So the pulses prices has to be much more than that. But this has really affected the price of. That is why I see that the price of all other pulses has come down quite significantly in last couple of months. So I think wise sense will prevail, and we do not see further extension at least till India actually requires these pulses again.
All right, thank you. I think my own view is the government of India will take a call by the middle of December, depending on the progress of planting. The report that they get from the state, based on that, they will take a call. But as Bimalji said, I think we need to draw a line somewhere and protect domestic growers' interest, etc. But at the same time, consumer interest also comes into play. It's a very tough call for the government also to in these matters to take a call. But anyway, I think we need to wait and watch. My sense is mid-December or around 20th December, there'll be a decision either way. Okay, we then go to the next question. Traders from Madhya Pradesh see a 25% shift from chana to wheat. Similar conditions are seen in other major chana growing states like UP and Rajasthan. How do you see this scenario? Anybody, Harsha or Satish? Satish, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Yeah. Is there a shift? Do you see a shift from acreage from chana to wheat?
This is the cause of concern. See, the reason behind, the MSP price of chana is around 56.
Satish, sorry for the intro. Very simple question. Do you think the chana acreage will retain last year's number or will it decline?
At present, I believe, but as per market sources, so far the seeding of chana was lacking behind as compared to the last year, but now it has picked up. We had made the government, Consumer Affairs Department, they have also showed the data that it is picking up. But the reason behind saying this is that it is a natural that the MSP of chana is 56 rupees 50 paisa, and the MSP of wheat is around 24 rupees 50 paisa approximately.
Right.
So the yield or the returns on the crop of of wheat is more than the chana.
Right,
In the
right, of course.
in the canal area of Madhya
Right,
Pradesh, where
right,
we have a
right,
watering
right,
facility,
right,
and wheat don't require too much of care. Wheat crop
right,
don't
right,
require too much
right,
of
right,
care.
right, right,
So the thought process was that some
yeah,
farmers were moving from
right,
chana
right,
to
right,
wheat
right, right, right,
in
right,
their
right,
land.
right,
But government assured us that these numbers are improving, and we are also
right,
watching. We are also talking in
right,
this
correct, correct,
on
correct,
those
correct,
areas,
correct,
and find
correct.
out that the figure are now coming to the normalcy, and still the window is
In these
open for
early
sowing.
days, the early days, we may not be able to. I think we will know. We will get to know a clear trend by the middle of December or second half
Exact,
of December, when the weekly, the weather watch group report starts to flow in
exactly,
week after week. I think we will get a very clear picture. It's too early to give
exactly,
a definitive answer to this. All right.
exactly.
What is the overall pulse production expected for 24-25? Very good question from Pallavi Singhal. Yeah. Anybody? Any thoughts? I
I think
okay.
you
Let
are
me
a right
let
person,
no,
Mr.
no, no,
Chandrasekhar.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
You are a right person.
My own sense, very strong sense, is that the Kharif production estimated by the government of India, the first estimate, is understated. This number, 6.9 million tons, will be revised up. It'll go, in my view, closer to 8 million tons, or definitely it'll be up by 1 million tons from the current government estimate, is number one. Number two, Rabi prospects, we are only speculating. We can't say, there can't be any definitive idea about a Rabi crop, because we still don't know. Early days of seeding, we don't know how the weather is going to behave. And therefore, what one can say with reasonable certainty is that 24-25 crop possibly will more or less match 23-24 crop. That is what we can say with a certain definiteness. And therefore, I'm sure Bimalji will organize another Rabi seminar sometime in maybe February or March, or whatever is the appropriate time. We can have a close look at the Rabi crop prospects.
Definitely, Chandrasekhar ji.
Yeah.
We are having our conclave from 12 to 14 February.
Right. I
So,
think one
you know,
session, one
yeah.
session on Rabi crop
There will
prospects.
be on the Rabi, because that's the right time for the
Right, please.
forecast of the Rabi.
That'll be wonderful, and please invite me for that session.
You always there. You're always
Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry. Expected demand. I think we need to rush now. We need to close it in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Expected demand for urad in November and December. How much stock is left in Myanmar? Can I ask? I don't know where is Daniel from, but can you engage with the presenter directly if it's possible, or would anybody want to answer this urad question? Agarwala ji, very quickly.
In Burma, as I am told, they are left with 1.5 lakh metric tons of urad as of now. The Indian demand is approximately 2+. So there is no issue. Brazilian is coming, local crop is there, and the Burma will feed us. And we must be thankful to the Indian importers. From the last 12-15 months, they are feeding Indian consumers in the disparity from Burma in the urad. $20 to $30 all the time. Satish Bhai will agree to me. So hats off to the importers of our country for the urad. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Will the government extend? Oh no, there is one more question. Indian light speckled kidney beans. What is the production? And as compared with last year, is the production higher? Any thoughts?
Yes, I can give a small reply.
Yeah, please.
We expect about 6,000 to 7,000 metric ton of new LSKB of Indian crop this year in the region of Maharashtra and Karnataka. The sowing has gone up drastically.
Right.
People are telling about 10,000 ton, but I don't expect that. But at least 6,000 to 7,000 ton, it will come. If the climate God is good with us, the color and quality will come. Definitely very good. Very good.
Right. Very nice. But that's not a big quantity, isn't it? 600 to.
No,
I mean, you're saying
it's a big
6,000 to. You're saying 6,000 to 7,000.
Yeah, 6,000. It is a big quantity for LSKB in our country.
That is true. I agree. I agree with you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will the government extend import of lentils after 31st March? Again, $1 million question or a $500,000 question. We don't know the.
Chandrasekhar ji,
Yeah. The
I'll
lentil.
interrupt. I'll interrupt. You see,
Yeah.
you see, there is no restriction on the import of yellow peas even beyond 31st March.
Right.
Lentils, sorry. There is no restriction. This is only the duty. Duty has been made nil till 31st March.
Yeah.
If they do not bring down the duty, then you can import. You can still import the lentils by paying a duty. I think which is 35% or something. I don't remember exactly what is the duty. But there is the import of lentils has been put under OZL subject to payment of duty. Presently, this is subject to nil duty till 31st.
Absolutely. I think if I remember correctly, from May 2020. 2021, 20, I think it's now 5 years that lentil is under OGL, open general license, and it attracted some duty. Now it is duty-free import. There is, I think, reason to believe the import policy will continue to be liberal. Okay, can we say, Pallavi said 24, 25 will be higher than 23, 24. What will be higher? That's not clear. I don't know whether production or demand or prices or import, that's not clear. But anyway, what is the yield of chickpea in Australia? Anyone? What's the name? Harsha? Harsha?
If you want, I can take that one.
Yes.
Chickpea yield in Australia.
See, it's a very variable yield at this point of time, and I think around 25 to 30% chickpea harvest is still to be done in Australia. So yes, definitely, if we compare to last few years, their yields are much better. But to give you an average exact yield would be a little earlier at this point of time, because we still have to see the 30% harvest. But all I can say is it's a much better yield than last few years. So we will see a good production coming, like as Satish ji mentioned, it could be more than 1.5 million metric ton.
All right, understood.
We need to wait for the harvest to complete. Otherwise, we'll be giving some speculative number here, which is not a right platform.
Correct. Just going back to Pallavi's question, whether 24-25 production will be higher than 23-24. Pallavi, my own thought on current reckoning. As of today, my strong sense is that 24-25 production will definitely be as much as 23-24 production, if not higher. But we don't know how the Rabi crop is going to pan out. Therefore, we need to wait and watch. The market is still evolving. Okay. Next one is, what is your thought about moong supply and demand? Anyone on moong? Vaibhav is asking moong. Okay, let me share some numbers. Your moong 5-year average acreage was 37 lakh hectares. In 23, it was 31 lakh hectares. In 24, it increased to 35 lakh hectares. The production target is 22 lakh tons for 23-24, but the actual production is about 16 to 18 lakh tons. What will happen in 24-25? I'm talking only about the Kharif season. There is also a small production of moong in the Rabi season. Therefore, we need to wait and watch how that pans out. But my own estimate of moong production in 24Anyone else wants to Excuse me, are you able to hear me? Then that that's right. Okay, any thoughts on moong? I think, in fact, I think moong is a crop this nation should be focusing on. Moong is a wonderful pulse crop. It lends itself to so many uses and applications. And I think we need to do a lot more to promote our moong production. But any thoughts on the question that we got about moong what was the question? 1 second. On moong was moong supply and demand. Any thoughts, anyone? Okay, I think if there is no other comment, I want to invite Satish Upadhyaya for his closing remarks. Honorary Secretary, IPG.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
No, but before that, let me thank all my co-panelists. I thoroughly enjoyed anchoring this event, and I want to thank personally each one of the participants. Of course, Vimalji as the chairman, Kunal, Rajesh, Agarwala Saab, Sachin, Satish Upadhyaya, Harsha Rai, etc. God bless you all. Take care. Over to Satish.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. And good evening, everyone. As we reach to the conclusion of today's IPJ Knowledge Series webinar on outlook on Kharif pulse production, Rabi pulse sowing scenario, and the US crop update for 2024-25. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to each of you for your active participation and engagement. The insight shared today has been invaluable, and I trust you found our discussion fruitful and inspiring. I would like to thank our partner, the US Ripees and Lentil Council, as our friend Mr. Sachin is always good to IPGA and is a very nice human being for their collaboration in making this event successful. This partnership reflects our commitment to the growth and innovation within the pulse industry. Looking ahead, I am thrilled to announce our upcoming event, the Pulse Conclave 2025, the TPC 2025, which will take place from 12th to 14th February on 2025 at a prestigious Bharat Mandapam. It's a very prestigious event where, we had a G20, G7 the event of our nationals in New Delhi. I eagerly look forward for welcoming each of you to this important event where we will continue to build our shared knowledge and connections. Thank you once again for joining us today, and we look forward to see you in Delhi at TPC 25 on 12th to 14th February. Do join us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone.